morning. Good morning. Good morning. So it's Thursday, and something just cracked me up, and I thought I would talk about it because it's something that happens. Oh my gosh, it's part of it's. It's oh my gosh, and several people came to mind when it oh my gosh, let me close this thing. Turn this air down a little bit. Okay, so so what just crossed my mind is something that happens when you ask for help, when you desire help, pray for help, however you want to call it, when you have a strong feeling of please universe or please God, help me find my way out of this, help me understand what's going on in my life. And things get worse. It's actually your desire or your prayer being answered. People are so ignorant, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, they're just so naive and clueless as to what's going on, and I once was too, so I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it sure is a funny thing, because there's really no need for it. There's no need for it. Growing up, I didn't know what truth really was. I knew that certain things didn't seem right, they didn't feel right. And so I felt that there was something else different. You're going to have to do a little better than that. I just felt something was different, but I didn't really know what truth was. But when it presented itself, I was on top of it. I accepted it. I'm like, cool, this is good. Come on, you want a little speed demon? You want to race everybody, but take off slow. Oh my gosh. So like I'm saying, there's just no reason for ignorance to be had, because there's so much truth out there and it's presented to us every single day. And so that's the funny thing about all of this is it's when we pray, when you're down and out and you're just at your wit's end and you're just I can't take it anymore. God, please help me. Help me understand. Help me. Just help me. And then it gets worse. Oh, look, lady. No. Oh, no wonder the car was dragging. Never mind. I'm not gonna say anything about it. So when we pray, when we ask the universe, or we're please help me understand what's going on, help me out of this, things often get worse. And this happens too when you're on the divine love path, when you're trying to seek absolute truth, and you're trying to get rid of the things that are within you and have a better understanding in terms of yourself and the universe and God and everything, just everything in general. You're just trying to become more aware and more knowledgeable in terms of truth. Things do get worse in your life, because all the things that are causing you your pain, which is generally what people pray for, they're like, please help me. Look, that's come on. You know what? You know what? That would have been your loss. Stay out of it, Zachary. Stay out of it. So, when people are at their wit's end, they ask for, please help take the pain away. Take my pain away. That's just what people ask for. And so the universe says, here you go. This is why all your shit is happening to you, because of all this stuff. So, this is this is so funny to me. It's so funny because it's happening for a reason. It's happening in love, and most importantly, you ask for it. People who pray to take away the pain ask for more pain, because the pain carries a message for you to understand what's going on in your life so that you can stop your pain. because you're the only one who can stop it. Nobody else can stop it. We can, which way am I going? Oh, I'm going past the Dinga. Nobody can stop it for you. Now they can ease your pain. They can momentarily make you not feel it, but the cause is still there. And so when you pray and ask for the universe or God or the Creator or Allah or Jehovah or whoever you ask, you're having a sincere feeling for the pain to stop. And that's why things get worse. And you're like, I just can't get out of this. I don't understand why I'm asking, and I'm doing it, and I'm doing, and it just won't work, and there's just no hope. And that's where people go to suicide, because they just like, no matter what they do, nothing works. And the thing is, it's working perfectly. Like the universe is like, here, see it, feel it. Most of all, it's saying, feel it. That's what the universe is saying. Feel it, damn it. Feel it. You're already there. You're already frustrated. You're already angry. Just feel it already. And so things get worse. And then one thing after the other, it gets worse. And still, people will not break. They will not break. They're like, oh, I gotta hold on. And they're working against their prayer. Like, the universe, God, the Creator, Allah, Jehovah, whatever you want to call it, is saying, here, you're there. I'm giving you everything you need right now to make sure that this never happens again. And people are like, oh, no, I can't break. Oh my gosh, it's so hilarious. It's hilarious. It looks like a cartoon in my mind. It's just like, I can't. So, oh, man. So, when you feel your prayers aren't being answered, like when you ask for the pain to stop, when you ask for clarity, when you ask for assistance and things get worse, that is the clarity. That is the assistance. That's what you're getting. You just don't know it. And you've been getting it your entire life. Like, all of your pain, all of your misery were all tools to help you get rid of the things that's causing you your pain and misery. Your whole life, like my whole life, all of my pain, all of it was happening so that I could feel it and release it. And I didn't do it because I was taught not to. And that's why you're not doing it, because you're taught not to. I can't break, I just can't do it. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I've had so many conversations with people, and they just, they're like, I don't know what to do anymore. Some people have committed suicide. I've even had a cousin of mine commit suicide because it was just too hard. And they grew up in a Jehovah's Witness, well, that's a whole other thing, but they grew up in a Jehovah's Witness religion, which actually is part of the reason why he committed suicide, because of the strict, or all the restrictions, and the shoving down and the suppressing of the soul. Like, that's what the Jehovah's Witness organization does, is it suppresses the soul. So when we get over here. So when we this is so funny to me. It's so ridiculous. Like, when you know it, it's freaking ridiculous. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But when you don't know it, when you understand that if you have the false belief and the false understanding or the misunderstanding or the understanding or whatever you want to call it, when you have this twisted belief of what love is and what life is supposed to be, when the truth presents itself to you, you don't know what to do with it, because you see it as opposite of what you believe or what you know. And that's what's happening with people. Like, people believe that, all you have to do is feel good. Like, that's the whole purpose of life. Yes, it is the whole purpose of life. Feeling good, having joy, having fun, being loved. All these things are, yes, it's the purpose of life. experiencing, exploring in that manner, in that loving energy, to explore, to expand, to experience in a loving energy. That is the purpose. That is the purpose. To create, that is the purpose. But when you have that purpose, or when you have that purpose in mind, but an understanding on how to get it that's completely opposite of being in harmony with love, when the truth actually presents itself, you don't know what you like. What is this? This is not, no. Feeling pain is not loving. Feeling pain is not loving at all. That's how people see it. But they just don't understand that the pain isn't, the pain is what's unloving within you already. The pain that you need to feel is a releasing of what's within you already. But people see it as pain coming to me, pain coming from somewhere else. Like, I don't want to experience more pain. That's what they say, is I don't want to experience more pain. But what they don't understand is that what's within their soul is causing them more pain for the rest of their lives if they keep doing what they're doing. That's what they understand. They don't understand. They're like, oh, well, I don't know why this keeps happening. That's why people are like, this is just the way the world is. Life is just, people say this all the time, life is just messed up. Life has its ups and downs. Yes, life has its ups and downs because of the soul condition of man, because of the soul condition of each individual person. That's why life has its ups and downs, because we have desires and feel good things that we want to do, and we do them, and then the soul comes around and presents itself again. And the law of attraction is responding to it, and then you get this bad experience, and then that's the ups and downs, all because of your soul. Not because of God, not because of anything else, not because of anyone else, but it's because of all the things that are within our soul. So I have loving things in my soul, and I have unloving things in my soul. So I have good experiences, and I have bad experiences. They're all going to keep coming to me unless I release them. They're just going to, even past this physical life, they're going to keep coming. I need to speed it up because it looks like I'm going to be a little late. I had to get gas. Yeah. Let me have some of this coffee since I'm not fasting. Oh my gosh, this morning is too much already. So, this person behind me is even more late because I'm going faster than I am. And they're Chevrolet. Oh wow, when that came across my mind, I was like, they don't know. And it's like, they don't know that the blessing, they don't know that the pain, the more pain that they're getting is their prayer being answered. God, please help me. I need to stop this pain. Okay, here. Feel that. No, I don't want to feel it. I don't want to feel it. No, that's not what I wanted. But that's exactly what you needed. And it is what you wanted. It just didn't come in the form that you wanted it to come in, because you don't know the full benefit. And that's the ignorance that we have. People don't know the full benefit of their blessing. Because of their ignorance, they don't know that it is a blessing. They don't know that their pain and suffering that they're experiencing is the very blessing. That is the blessing. People will think I'm crazy. That should be the title of my book. Your pain and suffering is your blessing. I wonder if those things won't go flying off the shelves. They will not go flying off the shelves. Oh my gosh. I can just see myself there at a book signing. Nobody coming in. The only thing I would be signing is a check for the setup. Oh my gosh, this morning is too much. A video of laughing. Oh my gosh. Oh man. But seriously, that's what people are getting. They're getting their other blessings. They just don't know that's what it is. So when you pray and things get better, and things get worse, that's your blessing. Like the universe is really trying to get you to feel so that you can release. And if you release, you're done with it. It's done. That prayer would have been answered. But the thing is, when you pray for something, because of the way the universe is structured, because of the way your soul is structured, because of the way everything is set up, you are the creation. I mean, let me say this. What you experience is your creation. So, you have to do something. You have to be a part of whatever it is that you're trying to create. So when you ask God or Allah, Jehovah, whatever you want to call the universe, source energy, whatever it is that the vortex, whatever you ask for, or whoever you ask it from, whatever, that pure desire that you have, it will give it to you. It will give you what you need, but you have to take it the rest of the way. Does it make sense? Like if you have a connect the dots thing, right? A connect the dots paper in front of you. It's like the universe or the creator, whatever you want to call it, will give you the pencil or the pen. But you have to drag that bitch across the page. You have to do it. You have to drag it from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. You have to use your willpower. You have to use your will to do it. Well, you have to have the will to do it and use the willpower to get it done. That's how it works. And you got to connect the dots. Do it yourself. You created the mess, so you have to clean it up yourself. You're given some help. You didn't have to go and create and find on your own. Like the creator gave you the tool in order to do it. So when you're presented with the messed up situation and things get worse, that's your tool. Now you have to use it. How do I use it? You feel it. You use the situation, you use the experience to feel it. And when you feel it, you cry. And when you cry, you release it. And all the while, you're doing all the work. You're doing all the work. The universe just helped you out a bit. So here you go. Here, use this. It's no different than you being... It's no different than like in the cartoon when they're in jail and someone gives them a file, right? So there's a universe giving you the file, but you have to file. Or giving you the chisel. You have to chisel away through the concrete. It's no different. You're just giving the tool, but you have to use the tool. And so the experience is the tool. And that experience is going to yield something. It's going to yield feelings within you, emotions within you. And that pain is going to come out because you're going to engage in the process. And as you're engaging in the process, you are making progress. That's how it is. That's how it works. It's like a file. Filing it. And there's so much we have within our soul, so we'll be filing for a long time. And that's something people are going to need to understand. It's not just, oh, I release this emotion, is life going to get better? You have a life of hatred. You have a life of rage. You have a life of pain. Come on. And depending on how old you are, will depend on how much you have within that soul of yours. Because the longer you live, the longer you have to store unloving things within your soul. Why am I way over here? I'm never way over here. I'm never way over here in the first lane. Is this the first lane or the fourth lane? I don't know how they do it. Ain't no telling. Is this the first lane or the fourth lane? Or is that the first lane over there? I don't know. For some reason, it didn't seem right, which is why I'm confused about it. I don't think this is the first lane. It would make sense if this was the first lane and this is the second lane, third and fourth. But the way man has things and the way they see it, that could have been the fourth lane. You get into the fourth lane first. Oh my goodness. Zachary. So yeah, don't block your blessings. Your prayers are being answered. You're just not using them. You're like, That's not what that's not what I asked for. That's not what I asked for. That's not what I wanted. There is no God. And that's really what comes up. That's what comes up. People are praying, they're getting their answers, they're getting their prayers answered in the way that will benefit them the best, the most. And then they're like, that's not what I wanted. There is no God. There is no God. Jesus doesn't exist. That's it. That's it. And there you have it. An atheist born in that moment. Or they hate God. They're like, God is mean. God doesn't care. All kinds of stuff. Lord Jesus. All kinds of stuff. Oh my. But if you notice, if you take note, people come up with that those answers in frustration. They're not being logical. You better not be on the phone. No, he's not on the phone. Look, if you saw him, he's not even living. I don't know what's going on with that man. If you saw what I saw, you did like. He looked was it catatonic? That's what he looked like. Like he was driving his life. Oh my gosh, Zachary. I don't know. Oh yeah. You're getting your oh my gosh. You know what's so funny about it? Is people get so angry. It's just when people get angry, it's a funny sight. For me, it's a funny sight because people get so animated. Like any other time, they're just calm, la di da. But when they get angry, they get animated, and they make the funniest faces and the weird gestures and their face scrunches up, and it's just hilarious to me because it's just it's just so funny because it's just like so. I don't know. It's like not real. Good. I will. Oh, thank you. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. She got the hoop earrings on. She got her hoop. Yeah. Oh, something interesting has been happening. So you know that guy, quit and he's gone now. And of course, like I told you, the energy is different when I walk into the office. But the energy is also different for everyone else. Well, except for a couple of people, they're kind of sad that person left. But it's only because he was doing things for other people that they should have been doing themselves. So they're really not sad that he's gone because of him. They're just sad because the work isn't being done anymore, and now they're having to do it. But I've had so many people come to me saying that they're so happy that person is gone. Like, I knew that this person was doing things to people like underhandedly, right? But it wasn't something that you could really prove, and if you told someone, it's like they would overlook it. They would just overlook it because they're not aware. They're just sleepy, comatose people. Chugging through life. Not knowing a damn thing. And because they really don't care about anybody, and that's because of the soul condition. Like, they just don't care about anybody, about themselves. And that's the agency that I work for. But interestingly enough, it's my law of attraction to work for a place like that, because that's been my entire experience growing up. Is people only cared about themselves, and they didn't care about me. And so that's why I'm working where I'm working. And so I understand why it's my law of attraction. So anyway, people have been coming to me left and right. I mean, just saying like they're so happy that he's gone. And then, they're telling me the things that they used, or things that he would do to them. And these are things that I knew that he was doing. you know, I just didn't know if they were aware of it, you know, because it was so sneaky and underhanded. And they were like, yeah, this person used to do this. And, you know, it's like, I was just like shocked because, you know, I thought, you know, I was his friend. But at some point, that person decided that I wasn't, and was just, everything changed. And I was like, yeah, I know he was doing that. I knew he was doing that. I knew. But I mean, it's like, what can I do? It wasn't my law of attraction. It was their law of attraction, right? So he was bringing a certain, you know, law of attraction to people, you know, or being a cooperative component, I should say. So, and so the universe was able to use him to bring people an awareness to what dwells within their soul. Now, do they know what's within the soul? Now, these people don't know about the soul. Just the conversations that I've had with them regarding that stuff, they don't know anything about the soul and why things are happening. But I understand it, you know. Like I said, you know, in yesterday's video, it is, my understanding is for my benefit. What I understand is because I have an openness to it. That's why I have the understanding. People who don't have an understanding don't have an openness to it. They don't want to understand. And so they don't have the capacity, they're not able to hold it. They're not even able to accept it because they don't want it. They want to understand things how they want to understand things. And it's not a true understanding. It's a false understanding. And that's why they keep making mistakes, because they don't want to have anything to do with truth. They don't want to have anything to do with truth. They want to understand it how they understand it. They want to believe that what they already know is true. Because, see, the thing is with truth, the things that we understand, or we believe we understand, is, it's cold in here, it's on 63 degrees. So, those things support how we want to live. For instance, an eye for an eye. If that belief, because some people believe it's true, and they'll say it's in the Bible, you know, and so they'll hold on to it because it allows them to harm others. It allows them to exude that which dwells within their soul. Does it make sense? Like, for instance, if I have a lot of darkness within my soul and I want to hurt someone, I want to cause them pain because it caused me pain, hearing truth is not going to allow me to do that, because truth is loving. And so I'm not going to want to pay attention to anything that's loving, because that's going to disallow me from expressing my soul condition. And the soul will express itself. It desires to express itself. In both good or bad, it doesn't matter what it is. The soul wants to express itself. And so, when the soul is dark, the soul wants to express itself. So, when the soul is dark, it wants to conquer, it wants to control, it wants to condemn, it wants to judge, it wants to hurt, it wants to rape, it wants to beat, it wants to molest, it wants to do all of these things. That's what the soul wants to do. And the reason why that is because it's within the soul. I've said many times, the soul will win out. The soul wins out every time. We just don't realize it. The soul wins out every time. It wins out every time. No matter what facade you present, no matter what fake personality you present, no, it doesn't matter what it is, your image, the soul will always win out. The contents of the soul will always win out. So, it wouldn't benefit me, in my mind, it wouldn't benefit me to learn truth and that would prevent me from exercising that which dwells within my soul. Because the soul would feel trapped. This is what happens, is people have anger within them, that pain and anger. And it's trapped in the soul. And they want to let it out. And so that's why people go out and do things and steal and harm others and tear them down and tear themselves down, because they have to get it out. It has to express itself. And so when ooh, that's a nice purple. I don't know if you see that house over there. But remember I said that, I need to take a, I don't know if it shows it on the camera, but that's a purple. The purple was the color of the awning that I saw a while back. And, ooh, Is it still going? Is it still recording? Yeah, it's still recording. So, oh, what was I saying? Oh, the soul will express, the contents of the soul will come. Oh, that's what it says. When I look at people, I don't see people anymore. I see soul conditions. And it's kind of neat to not look at people. Like, when I look at someone, all I see is their soul condition. That's all I see. When I see someone rolling their eyes or having an attitude or yelling at someone or doing something to someone or talking about someone, all I see is the soul condition. I don't see people doing it. I don't see the effects anymore. I see the cause. I see the root of why they're doing what they're doing. And it's pretty neat to see someone for who and what they really are. You know, to see a soul in a degraded state expressing itself in its degraded state. That's what I'm seeing. And so, you know, it's just the soul, like I said, the soul will always win out. And there's nothing you can do about it. And good thing you can't, because you are the soul. And as you watch how you communicate with people, as you catch yourself doing things like harming people, talking about people, or condemning someone, judging someone, like all of these things are representations of your soul. That's what it is. I'm putting chapstick on. That's what's going on. It's just your soul. It's your soul condition. And that's how I know what's within someone's soul. That's how like I can read someone before they even approach me. Like, I just know it. It's because I'm looking at the soul. I'm not waiting for them to do something. And that's the difference. That is the difference between looking at someone as a person, like a physical being, waiting for them to do whatever they need to do so I can figure it out. You're not looking at the soul. But if you look at the soul, you already know you can see it in them. And I don't know how to explain that. It's because it's a knowing that just appears. That is, I don't want to say it's beyond the physical, but it is beyond some of it is beyond the physical. You know, it's like I can look at someone, but the thing is, I can look at their degraded state. I can look at their body. I can look at their face. I can look at their expressions. I can look at their body language, and take all of that in consideration and understand why those things are happening. That's the thing. Why those things are happening. Like, someone will look at, some people do that for a living. They recognize body language and things like that as part of the physical. But I understand what's in the soul that's even causing that to happen. Like, I know that where there's pain, I know when they're trying to conceal pain, I know when they're frustrated and angry, I know when they're trying to conceal that frustration and anger. Like, all of that. All of it. Like, someone can say, oh, well, like, you know, you can have your neighborhood molester or rapist or whatever. And people say, well, it's just so hard to believe that Stanley would do such a thing. Like, I let my kids go over there and they have play dates together and all these different things. And it's like, I can look at someone and tell that they're not right. Like, something's off with them. I can tell when there's something off with them sexually. I can tell when there's a lot of anger, when there's rage pent up within them, all the while they're presenting a smile. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, I can see the contents within their soul before they even approach me and say anything to me. I already know. Now, when they speak, I get the confirmation. That's the confirmation. Like, I already know, but I get a confirmation when they interact with me or when they interact with others. So, you know, that's oh my gosh, man. Oh, so one thing I wanted to mention, because yesterday's video, which I have not uploaded yet, but I will. Yesterday's video, I was talking about the people at Kaiser, and I had mentioned, oh, you know, I said there was a white lady, and then I said there was a black man, and then I said there was another white man. So the reason why I mentioned race, because it's extremely important for you to understand, because I was like, after I said, I was like, did they really understand why I even said it? With race, there are certain, how would I word it? There are certain experiences that people have, and those experiences will generate an emotional injury. So white people have different experiences than black people in general. And so there are certain reactions or certain emotions or certain feelings that are trapped within the soul. And there are certain experiences that are being had. And when those experiences aren't being had, or addictions aren't being met, they manifest differently. And because of the contents of our soul, things just go different ways. You know, some people can have the same experience and go different ways, and that's because of the emotional injuries that have been passed down from generation to generation. And so with certain generations, there's these emotional injuries that are passed down, and they have certain reactions, and they're based from certain, or born out of certain circumstances and events. And so when I had mentioned that first mentioning the white lady, and I don't know if you've noticed it. I notice it because I'm black, so I take notice of things differently than a white person probably would. So when I first mentioned the white lady, it was interesting because this lady felt entitled, and you don't really get that too much with black people. They don't even feel like they're even worth much of anything, to be honest. But for white people, it's a little different because they've had. And so there's a sense of feeling entitled and like, oh, I just want to, there's just I don't want to say superiority, but there's a different experience that white people have than black people. And so that's why I made it a point to say that she's white, because the whole thing that was going down was something that happens pretty often with white people. And so I was like, okay. So, and it's what I mean by that is there are certain things like white people really don't have the fear of not being able to assert themselves and be involved. Like, they just have freedom to involve themselves in whatever they want to involve themselves in, without any kind of backlash or, anyone saying anything to them, because that's just the freedom of the world right now, or the freedom that they have in this world that man has created, because it's their system. The system has been created by basically Europeans, and so they benefit from it, and so they have this sense of freedom, where black people don't have that. And so as she was involving herself in other people's business, it was just part of like, I can do this and I can do that and I can do this and I can do that. However, at the same time, what she was doing is having this sense of, I can save, I can protect, I can help, I can relate, I can do this, I can do that. And she was really overstepping her bounds, and she obviously didn't understand what the hell was going on. But she was in a confused state. Like her state of her soul condition was really, really dark. One, because she had to be involved to control everything. But this is one of the things that, white people will have to pay for, because they want to control. Not all, I'm not saying all, but in general. I mean, that's why we have the world that we have today, where the Europeans basically are running the show on the planet. Because of this, because they feel they can't do this. And as you take control, or you take control and you conquer and feel that you have the right to do any and everything that you want, and involve yourself in people's lives, and control other people's lives, and guide people's lives, you're going to have to pay for that at some point. And that's your soul, and that's your penalty for doing what you've done, if this is you. And the thing is, some of you may say, well, I don't do that, but that doesn't mean that your ancestors didn't do it, and it doesn't mean that it's within your soul. And you'll have to recognize this for yourself. I mean, it's not up to me to point it out to you. This is something you'll have to recognize for yourself if you want to recognize it. That's up to you. It's no different than a black person. And so when I had mentioned the black guy, I saw him come out, And as soon as he came out, I saw him, like I saw his soul condition, and there was a lot going on within him. And he tried to come out, and he heard the confusion, which is why he came from behind the wall. And he heard everyone talking, and he came out, and so he tried to take the lead. And we're not living in a world where we really allow black people to take the lead. That's not, because that's not how they're viewed. They're not given that kind of, I don't want to say authority, but they're not given that. And so they're still looked at as being servants, if you will. So that guy, that white guy that was sitting on the chair, like, he was sitting in the corner. He wasn't involved in anything. Like, he wasn't saying anything. He wasn't involved in the confusion. He was just sitting there. But when that, and I noticed him in the corner, but kind of didn't notice him because he wasn't involved. He was just sitting down in the corner. So he was sitting there kind of like slouched at an angle. And so when the black guy came out and he started trying to bring order to the chaos that was happening, that guy who was just sitting there looking at everything, he had an attitude with him. Like, he didn't say anything to anybody else. He only said something to him. And this is why I had brought up the black-white thing yesterday, or how I pointed out that this person was white, this person was black, and that person was white. Because their races had a lot to do with the way things went down in the moment, because he was arguing with the guy when the guy was really trying to bring order to chaos. Like, he was trying to help people understand. That's why I said, Zachary, stay out of it. This is not your role. Now, he works at Kaiser. He works there in that area, and so it is his responsibility to inform how their policies and procedures and rules and things are how they are. And that's not my role. Like I said, even though I knew exactly what the procedure was and how things run, that was not my role. And so I had to stay out of it. And so when this guy came out, and the thing is, the guy came out not frustrated. He just wanted to quickly put everything in place so he can, go and start processing people after they were processed with the paperwork or whatever, and the co-pays. He could start drawing blood. Like, that's what he wanted to do, just get everything on track so everything can run smoothly. But that white guy had an issue with him, and the issue was with him and his race. And how I know this is because he wasn't trying to help people understand. He wasn't doing anything. But the only time he opened his mouth is when that guy was telling other people what to do. Do you have number? Okay, get in line. What number do you have? Get in line. And this is what that white guy had a problem with. He had a problem with this black guy telling white people what to do. And this is the thing. Because the room was basically a bunch of white people. Aside from myself, I was the only black one in that, the black guy in there besides the worker dude. And so when you start seeing this, you start understanding what these underlying emotional injuries are. And why people respond or react the way that they respond and react. So that's why I brought it up yesterday, because it was part of why everything was going down yesterday. It really isn't about the black-white thing. It's about the emotional injuries regarding the black-white thing and why we choose to do things towards a certain race. Like, all of that is really important, and you can't really say, oh, well, why are you bringing race up or anything like that. And this is why I needed to clarify, because people don't understand race. They don't understand why people hate certain things. And I can tell you, the bottom line is, the reason why racism exists is because someone is experiencing a lack, and they hate it. They hate it. People hate when they experience lack. This is why black people hate white people, because the black people are experiencing lack, and there's a certain lack that Europeans or white people experience that black people experience. I mean, I don't want to get into the whole racing, but it's a lack, and people don't understand what that lack is. They just know that they hate that race because they have something that the other race doesn't have. And that's what I mean by lack. Like, they possess something that they don't have. And you can even see it today. You can see it today. It's like, you know, like Hispanics and whites and Asians, they just don't like black people. Like, now I'm not saying all, but it's pretty common. Like, they don't even, they think they're beneath whatever. But when you look at what's going on in the world, like these YMI genes, it's like, even with the injections in the lips, they're trying to have fuller lips, like black people. They're trying to have bigger butts, like black people. They're trying to have bigger hips, like be more curvy, like black people. So it's this is what I mean. It's like, people hate, but they want. And the reason why they hate them is because they have something that they don't have. Or meaning the other race has something that they don't have. And so the reason why black people hate white people is because they have more money, more freedom. That's what they have. Well, they have the curvy body and the bigger lips and the bigger butt, and they have all these different, you know, physiques. Like, just, you know, black men in general do not have to work out. They're just naturally fit. Like, the physique is just there, you know, so they don't have to work. They have all of that. They just don't have the money and the freedom, which is why they despise white people, because they have all the money and they perceive it as having freedom, but they really don't have freedom. They don't have freedom. So this is what I'm saying. Like, all racism is based in lack. It's just, what is the other person lacking? Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, well, that's because of your soul condition. That's because of your soul condition, and there isn't anything I can do about that at all. I just wanted to point that out, because I mentioned it, but I mentioned it in, like, kind of quickly, and it wasn't really a topic. It was just part of the equation that was happening yesterday. So I thought I would explain it just a little bit, so there's more clarity. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to be late today because I had to get gas. I even sent myself a text message. Like, I scheduled a text message, but I scheduled it too late. I scheduled it way too late. I think I should have scheduled it at 4:30 instead of 5:30. That way I can get my butt in gear, but I totally just sat there. Anyway, so that's that. Yeah, your prayers are being answered, and when you get more pain, that is your parents. Your prayers being answered. So, oh well, that's kind of weird. Is there anything else? I don't think so. Just be mindful that, you know, when you do ask for something and things get worse, understand that when things get worse, that is literally your prayer being answered, and it's getting worse so that you feel it, because you're already there. Like I said, you're already there. You're already frustrated. You're already, like, at your wit's end, and you just need a little bit more. And so you're given a little bit more just to send you into that place of feeling and releasing, experiencing the pain. Because once your pain starts coming up, and once the tears start coming, what happens is it's connected. It's just, they're all connected. Like, all these power lines are connected. They're different wires, but they're all connected. And so when one blows out, boom, 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 other things start being affected. And that's how emotions come up. They're all connected to something. And the emotion that you're releasing, like, there's different emotional injuries that are piled on top of one another. And so people will say things like, I don't know what the root cause is. I want to find the root cause. But you can't get to the root cause because there's so many other emotions that are buried on top of it. And so there's a lot of denial that, you know, because you denied that emotion, you know, you incurred a law of attraction event, and now you have a new one because, you know, you want to deny that experience too. And so this is what we keep doing every time we deny our pain. We keep piling more on top of it. And so we have to dig through. To get to the bottom of things. The root. It's like you have a barrel and you have something at the bottom of it, and you keep piling stuff on top of it. You can't just reach for the stuff at the bottom. And if you try, it's so difficult. You just have to move some of the stuff out of the way just to grab it. Like, it happened to me this morning. Like, I had the brown pants that I'm wearing today was like, I had just done laundry, and I didn't like hang them up and do anything like that. So I just they were like lightly stacked, but I stacked like the pants and then the shirts and then the this shirts and then the that shirts and then this and that all on top of it. So it was a lot of weight, and the ones at the bottom were the ones that I wanted. And so I thought I could just pull, but I couldn't just pull it because there was so much weight on top of it. I was like, ugh. So I had to move things out of the way in order to get to the things at the bottom. And so that's how our emotions work. And sometimes we can access the emotional injury, the original emotional injury, but the problem with that is we don't know that it's there. And so using the same example, when we have things at the bottom of the barrel, what happens is that when we have things at the bottom of the barrel, what happens is that we can't see what's at the bottom because of all the other things that are stacked on top of it. And so we may have an idea, but we really don't know until we get to it. And this is why it's important to just, when you feel an emotion come up, I have this Facebook friend, and he's always asking, what's the root cause? Because he wants to know. He just wants to not have to deal with anything anymore. Like, we had a weird conversation yesterday, actually, and he asked a question, and it was about prayer. Let me talk about this real quick, because it's the same thing as what I mentioned. Maybe this is why it's coming up. I don't know. I said to him a while back, about prayer. He asked a question about prayer a few days ago, and or more than a few days ago. And I gave him the answer. I said, prayer isn't about words. It doesn't matter what you speak, because the Creator understands feelings. The Creator understands emotions. And your words never reach. Your words only reach. And the thing is, it's not the words reaching. It's the feeling that you have when you're speaking the words. That is what exits the universe, penetrates the universe, and reaches the Creator. And that's how your prayers are answered. Does that make sense? So he was saying, he was asking, about, because I told him, I go, this is why your prayers in the past have not been answered, because you have prayed during your desperation, and you were praying in anger. You wanted God to help you because you were experiencing pain, and you were angry that it was happening, and you were praying to have the pain stop. But the prayer wasn't pure. It wasn't in love. It was in anger, and prayers in anger are not answered. And so it has to be a true pure feeling, desire, and that's not what was happening. And so that's what I explained to him. It's not about the words. And so yesterday he asked, I guess Jesus was, in a video that I sent him, Jesus had said, that there is a documentation of the prayer in the Bible. I think it was John 17 or something like that. And so he said, and so his thing was, if he prayed out loud, how come it can't? Basically, he was trying to reconcile what I had said and what Jesus had said. But because of his soul condition, he only wanted to hear and see what he wanted to hear and see. And so if he had heard me the first time, I think it was in written form, but if he had understood what I had wrote, I told him it was the feeling. It has nothing to do with the words. If you can speak at the same time that you feel, you can do that. But the thing to understand is that it's the feeling that is penetrating the universe, or the exit in the universe and reaching the Creator. Even though your words are being spoken, that doesn't mean that that's happening. It doesn't mean, I'm sorry, it doesn't mean that the words are the one that's doing it. It's the feeling, emotions. And so he tried to bring it up, saying, you know, well, I'm trying to understand this. I'm trying to understand how he spoke and it worked. But again, he wasn't understanding or paying any attention to, he wasn't understanding or paying attention to anything else that I said. He just wanted to, hey, well, basically, you know, basically for him it was like, you know, he spoke, how come I can't speak and it make a difference? But again, he was overlooking the whole thing about the feeling while he was speaking. Like when Jesus was praying, he wasn't just bumping his gums, he wasn't just moving his lips, he was having a true communication, a heartfelt communication, a soul-based communication with the Creator. That's what was happening. Even though he was speaking out loud, he was doing both at the same time. But the one that really counted was the feeling, was the emotion. And so when he tried to bring it up yesterday, he said he was trying to get understanding. But what was really going on is he wasn't really happy with the idea that I said that how you were praying was wrong. But this just has everything to do with people telling him that he's been wrong all of his life. And now he saw that. Because of his emotional injury, he took that and he felt some kind of way about it, and he's not being honest about it. And so that's why he brought it up to me. And it was kind of like, well, if he did it, how come you're saying it was wrong when I did it? That's what was really going on. And so I let him know about it yesterday. And he was like, no, stop. And so he was getting angry because I was actually just telling the truth. That's all I was doing. But he didn't want to admit the truth, and that doesn't have anything to do with me. That's something that he's going to have to work out for himself. But in terms of the prayer, you know, it's really, it's good to it's important to understand that it's only the emotions that come through and reach the Creator. It's the only thing that matters. That's why when you just speak your words, even when you're talking with someone and, you know, they're saying, oh, you know, I love you and I love you so much, and they're using the words, but it doesn't mean anything if it's not coming from the soul. If those same words if the words are being generated from the mouth, right? But it's not being generated from the soul, the words mean nothing. Absolutely nothing. All of your words that you speak must be in harmony with your soul. If not, you're in denial. And that means that it's not true. And this is why prayers are not answered for most people, because they're not praying in truth. They're just using their mind to communicate like they're communicating with man. And you can deceive man with words, but you can't deceive God, because God doesn't understand, or I don't want to say God doesn't understand. God does not receive your words as truth unless it's accompanied by truth from the soul. That's how it works. And so there you go. All right, everyone. So have a great weekend, or not weekend, but a great Thursday. And I'll talk to you guys later. All right. Bye now.